Good morning. Whoa. What was that? Good morning. Hi, I am Sunshine, and thank you for joining me on my stream. This is the ABCube method for solving the Rubik's Cubes. It is the newest, completely original method for solving the Rubik's Cubes. And it works not just on the regular 3x3, it works on everything bigger and smaller as well. So it does every n by n by n cube. We do them all the same way. Everything. Oh, I'm getting in my own light. Sorry. So, it's Thursday. Let's play. Who do we have today? Every time I stream, I feel like, whoops, what happened? I feel like I'm on Romper Room. You know, Romper, Bumper, Stumper. You guys Google it. Okay, so, good morning. The ABCube method. I've set up some demonstrations. Formula A is 4 moves, and you hold the cube, look at it as if it were a spreadsheet of rows and columns. Just a spreadsheet of rows and columns. And I have my 3x3. And so the formula A uses 1 row and 1 column. For the corners, it's the bottom row and the right column. For the center, for boxes, it's the middle row and the middle column. And it's used to bring a color to the top. And for formula B is the top row and two columns. And the cube tells you which 2 columns you need to use. You don't have to memorize. If you get 2 large cubes, you don't have to memorize that this column and this column, move this thing in this column and this column. You just pick a piece that you want to move, and the 2 columns that you use are where you want that cube to end up and where that cube began, are the 2 columns that you're going to use. So, formula A, for example, you use the bottom row, right column. We're moving, this is where the action is taking place, so we're moving this piece away from the action, down, in, and up. And it switches these 2 and these 2, and does a bunch of things on these 3 centers, 3 edges. But if you keep doing it 6 times, everything you do repeatedly will eventually get you back to your starting position. So I use formula A to bring a piece to the top and to twist the corner if need be. Formula B is used to move 3 pieces around, and together that's all you need to do to solve all of your cubes. So, on Monday I did some parodies. During the weekdays, I usually just take one step by step through the week to solving the cube. So you have to watch, you have to come back and see how I do the next one. But I've done the corners. I start with the corners because every cube has the corners. And I solve every cube the same way. So when you have the corners done, the 2x2 is solved. And when you add the edges, the 3x3 also is solved. So I do the corners, and then I do the opposite edges, because you're doing the same thing. And then today I'm going to be working on, so I've got the corners done and the opposite edges. And so today I'm going to be working on the side edges. So the opposite edges I did were yellow and white. So I'm going to take my white and I put it face down. And from this point forward, everything is a formula B. Actually, I'm going to line up my center, my absolute center, before I start doing the sides. If I don't do it now, I can do it later, or I can end up with the parity, because if a center is a quarter turn off, you get a parity. If it's an odd number turned off, you get a parity. Even number turned off, you don't. So did not specifically line up any parodies, but we'll see if we get any, because those are fun. And the thing about this method is there's A and B is all you have to memorize, and because you're doing it over and over repetitively, it's real easy. You don't have to memorize hundreds of literally hundreds of algorithms, and remember on your little cheat sheet which algorithm does which thing and which order to do the algorithms, because you don't want to mess up what you've done before. So no, everything is A and B, and it doesn't matter whether it's the first move you're doing or the last move you're doing. You can pick up this any cube from any scramble or state of scramble or solve and finish it, so without messing up what's gone before. The only exception to that is if there's a parody. Parodies are undone by a single quarter turn, and so if you've done the centers before you did the other stuff, you will have to reset those centers for the parody dissolve. But other than that, it's and I don't spend time pairing edges up. I don't say like, okay, here's my red and green, where's my other red and green, let's put them together. That seems to be a lot of searching and solving twice rather than just placing the piece where it goes as you find it, as it just find it randomly. So my white goes face down, and I'm going to displace a yellow piece that's correct into if there's any side pieces that are not correct. So I'm checking my side pieces. Neither one of these are correct, so I'm going to mark what I'm doing. I'm going to start with this, moving this piece out because it's not correct. So I'm going to apply Formula B to one of these to affect this piece, and as always, top row first up, and then the second one, this one will show me when my second up is. So up, and then this is the column, sorry, second up, down, down. Okay, so I have just displaced one of my yellows that was correct, but don't worry, it's going to find its way back to the top as I work on the whatever's not yellow on the top. I'm only working with A and B. I'm only focusing on one cube at a time, and I'm only moving 3 pieces around at a time. So this piece is incorrect because it's on the yellow face. I'm going to hold that piece and rotate the cube so that the corners match the front, and it's going to go, the only piece I'm looking at right now is this piece that I'm placing. So it's going into the corners match the front, it's going into the blue direction, which would be this way. So this is my first column, this is my second column. I start by the action's taking place over here, so I move my piece out of the way. Start with away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And then we find another piece that's not yellow and work on it. Now I said that it moves 3 pieces, but we're only really caring about the piece that we're applying it to. So corners match the front, it's going in the blue direction. So I know that since this piece is wrong and only has one correct piece, that wherever it lands is also wrong as well. So I don't have to worry about whether I'm displacing something or not, because if there's only one correct piece for it and it's not there, then that's automatically 2 of my 3 pieces are incorrect, so it doesn't matter. So first column is where it's going to land, second column is where it begins, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. This piece is placed, and we're looking for now as I displace my yellow, it's going to find as I place pieces where they belong, my yellow will eventually find its way back to the top. And when that does, then I evaluate the cube and see what to do next. It'll either come up correctly, matching the pieces that it's next to, or come up incorrectly. But either way, it's going to come to the top, and that's when I reevaluate. So white stays happy. It also gives visual clues. The edges give visual clues as to which column I'm on. And when you can with bigger cubes, that becomes an issue. So corners match the front is going in the green direction, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. This piece is placed, and this since the yellow and orange was the one that I displaced, the one opposite it, this yellow-red, is going to keep bippity-boppeting back and forth until the yellow comes back to the front. So, corners match the front. It's going in the red direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And yes, I separated two pieces that looked like they belonged together. And maybe they did, and maybe they were off because of the internal workings of the cube. We don't really know until we get to where there either is or is not a parity. So, corners match the front. It's going in the green direction. Away, up, in, second up, away, down, in, second down. And because I did the corners and the edges first, like I said, these edges are my visual clue to remind me what columns I'm working with. If I get distracted. So, corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction. How we doing? How y'all doing out there in TV land? Okay, corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And I'm just going to keep working on my side edges. Unless someone has a question, I will stop and do enter whatever questions come up. Or you can tell me how you guys are doing. Or you have any plans for the weekend? Corners match the front. It's going in the orange direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And yes, my yellow came back to the top. Yes, it looks correct. So, the determination I have to make then is are we already know the whites are still happy. Are all of my side edges correct? And those two are. And if they are, then we proceed to the next step. But if they're not, then I would displace another correct piece and keep going. So this one, the cage is complete. Let's go. I already did that one. Let's go to this one. I already did it before. Okay, so yellow and white are left and right. No, I did that. White goes face down. And I'm going to, my center's correct. I'm going to displace one of my yellows and work with it. Now, for 4x4, it's just one. As we get into larger cubes, we can do it one row at a time and then work with an extra when that's done, and so on until we get to the center. Or we can move both of all the way. Your displacement move can go all the way to the center, but you don't want to go beyond the center, because that way you're forcing any parities that show up to be in the opposite space rather than side by side or opposite or different faces, just because it makes it easier. So I'm going to displace this piece down here. Oh, sorry, white corners match the front, and this piece is incorrect. So up, up, down, down. Okay, so I'm only working with one row at a time because I'm a newbie and I don't want to get confused. So, corners match the front, going to blue, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Search for the piece that does not have a yellow, or not have whatever your top color is. This can be done color neutral. I just work with yellow and white because when I was creating the method, a friend of mine says, don't you tell them what color to use. Don't expect them to, don't confuse them with multiple colors. So I did. Corners match the front, and it's going in the blue direction. Now, because I'm going to treat these as just one piece, so I'm going to treat these two as one piece too. And I'm going to go ahead and see if that saves itself. So I am no longer working with just one column. I'm now working with 2 columns. And we have a kitty cat. Tell me in chat if you have an animal. Hello, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. My kitty is actually my emotional support animal. Okay, so looking at what's not blue, what's not yellow on the top. Corners match the front. It's going in the green direction. So away, up and up. I'm treating this. I'm preserving these pieces being the same unless that becomes a bad idea. So now I am treating these individually because these are not matched. So I treat these individually. So I'm going to use this one. Corner matches the front, goes to the blue. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna save a couple of those just because I can. So up, up, down, down. Let's see how long we can preserve the 2 pieces already being together. Slide, slide. It's going in the green direction. Up, up, down, down. And at this point, someone told me this is boring. Well, it is, because it is once you've learned it, it's all repetition. But it's the easiest way to remember. So red goes into the green. Red is corners match the front. It's going in the green direction. Up, up, down, down. And instead of working with this one, I'm gonna do this one since it's in my face. So I move to the blue. Corners match the front. It's going in the orange direction. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. Now I turn it around and I'll work with these 2 consecutively. Move the cube, corners match the front. It's going in the red direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. This one. Corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction. Up, up, down, down. Look for other things that are not yellow. And oh look, that one came back. We will look at that later. Right now, where's my piece? Okay, we still have something that's not yellow, so we're going to keep working on that. Corners match the front. It's going in the green direction. Up, up, down, down. And yellow came back to the top. Okay, so when I said when the yellow comes back to the top, whether it's correctly or incorrectly, we're going to check the sides to see if they're correct. So these are all correct. These are all correct. These are all correct. These are all correct. So this is what other people call a parody, but parodies are lies. There is no such thing as a parody. It is a deceit. The cake is a lie. So it looks like I have only 2 edges that need to be swapped. This piece goes here. This piece goes here. But Formula B always moves 3 pieces around. We already said that. So I can go ahead and keep working with this, picking another piece to move around, etc. But I'm going to keep ending up with parodies because the third piece that's incorrect. The rest of these are all correctly placed. The third piece that you can't see, you see 1, 2. The third piece that you can't see is literally the piece that you can't see. It's one of the centers, one of the slices of the cube is a quarter turn off, an odd number of quarter turns off. So if I make a quarter turn of the slice that touches the parity, then that parity will disappear. For example, if I want to have green be my top now, and then if I want to go color neutral, I would just slide this quarter turn, and it doesn't matter which way I go, whether if I go this way, then this piece is correct, and I have 1, 2, 3 edges that are not, and we know how to place 3 edges. if I go this way, oh sorry, if I go get my cube again. If I go the other way, then this one is the one that's correct. So either way, I move 1/4 turn, and one of my pieces is correct, and 3 of them are not. And then in which case, I just go ahead and work with these, displace these as we have been doing. But if I want to stay yellow as my top, then I'm going to just again displace my incorrect yellow down. And where it landed, this is the same. For the internals of the mathematics of the cube, this row is on the same same layer as this row. So where my yellow landed, that's the row I'm going to turn it counterclockwise. And then from here, I'm going to continue with my white on the bottom. Work on what's not yellow. Corners match the front. It's going in the orange direction. And when I solve these again, the parity will have disappeared. All I needed I don't need to remember or memorize or keep on a cheat sheet the parity algorithms, because there's multiple ones depending on what your parity looks like. Doesn't matter what your parity looks like. They're all caused by the same thing. They're all caused by an invisible row by being I said invisible row, being 1/4 turn off. A row that does not have an absolute center on it, being 1/4 turn off. So corners match the front. It's going in the red direction, up, up, down, down. And this is more moves than waiting to the end and pulling out your memorized parity algorithm. Because to do formula B 4 times is more moves than your parity algorithm. But it's still only one thing to have memorized. So when newbies do it, it always works. So there we go. The parity has disappeared because I did a single 1/4 turn and solved again. When I was a kid and didn't understand what parities were, if I got a parity, I would just scramble the cube again and resolve it, because half of the times, statistically, based on your scramble, roughly half of the times you'll get a parity, half the times you won't. And so I would just keep re-scrambling it until I didn't have the parity, but I didn't know what the parity was or how to undo it, and now you do. So the cage is complete. The cage is complete, and all that's left is the centers, the absolute the center pieces, and these are all done with formula B. Only instead of it's still the top row, but instead of the outside columns worked on the corners, and outside and an inner column worked on the edges, 2 inner columns work on the centers, and we'll do that. For example, here is a white that it's on the green side, wants to go to the white, so the white side, I hold the white side on front. And yes, I'm going to do a centerpiece just to demonstrate, 2 centerpieces just to demonstrate. So I'm using 2 columns, 2 separate columns. So if it'll have to be this one and this one. If I have a bigger cube, then the piece that I'm using dictates what those columns are. So I move this piece up. I rotate the top so that this is in a different column, 1/4 turn. If I go this way, same column, doesn't work. So I go this way, second column, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. So it's still slide the top, first up, slide the top, second up, slide the top, first down, slide the top, second down. And I don't know what I did. I got confused. Let's try it again. Okay. Up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. That worked. I have no idea what I did. Sunshine makes mistakes. All right, and then just pick another piece. So for the diagonal centers, it matters which way you turn the top row. So for this one, is going to the yellow side. I can bring down either the blue, the orange, the white, or the red. I'm going to bring down the white because it's opposite yellow. So up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. It's still an up, up, down, down. So the diagonal centers, you have to pay close attention to which way you're going. If you have a non-diagonal, what's the word? Oblique. Oblique, I call them floating centers, but evidently the community calls them obliques. So this is a non-diagonal center. And so it's red, so I hold the cube so that the red's on top. There we go. And it's going to land here, so I can bring down either the blue or the green or the white or the yellow. I'm going to bring down the white. So that's my first horizontal row that you see on the B. There is lining it up so that you know what you're going to come down with. So this cube, let me separate this. This cube is going to go up, and this is the cube that it lines up with. So this is the cube that's going to come down. And you would think that it would switch places, but it doesn't. We're always moving 3 pieces around. So this piece goes up, slide it to a different column, and I can do that this way or this way. The only way it matters is whether or not which one of these pieces is going to move into that spot. If you're making patterns on a big cube, then that's what and oh, big cube patterns are so pretty. All right, so anyway, either way, to put it into a different column, and then that's my second column up. And then, as I said, since my edges are already done, it keeps me track of where I am. I just line them up again to go down and down. So, and again, this piece went up, this piece came down, but it landed here. So you're still moving 3 pieces, and it might look like you're only moving 2 pieces because if 2 of the pieces are the same color, it looks like you're moving 3, but it only looks like you're moving 2. So we're always moving 3. So bring your color to the top with A. B moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you need to do for every size Rubik's Cube. And then it's just lather, rinse, repeat, or do the same thing over and over again. So yes, it can get boring, but I don't view it as boring. I view it as relaxing, therapeutic. For me, the cube is not a puzzle, because I've mastered the puzzle. It is at its base, it is a rainbow-colored toy. And if you're not having fun, then put it down, take a nap, have a snack, come back later, and have fun, because you should be having fun with this. And different people have fun different ways. Some people have fun by beating their time record, and some people have fun with creating more pretty patterns. I don't remember his name, but there's a cube artist on Facebook, and he has I think it's 13 by that he creates beautiful patterns with. So anyway, back in the day when there was just the 3x3, there, once you'd mastered, once you could pick it up and put it down solved, then you'd mastered it. And so you went with either speed or how many pretty patterns can I go with, and I went in the direction of teaching other people, because they would see strangers and friends would see me with the cube, and it was so new, it was novel. This was back in the early 80s, and they're like, and all anybody knew about the cube was that it was practically impossible to solve, because there was 43 point something quizillion numbers, possible ways to have the cube, and only one of them was correct. And so it was all, so difficult. But so I'd be walking down the street, and we didn't have the internet, of course, so I had to buy this book from 7-Eleven and memorize it in order to learn how to do the cube. This is back before we had standardized notations, and so every book you had would tell you a different way. So people would see me and they'd say, "Oh, did you take the stickers off and put it back on, or did you take it apart and put it back together? How did you solve that cube?" Because that was the only evidently the only 2 ways to solve it. I said, "No, I just twisted it." They're like, "No, you didn't." You did it. No one can do that. You can't solve a Rubik's Cube. So they take it, twist it up for me, give it back to me, and I'd solve it in front of them. And they're like, wow. So my friends started bringing in their Rubik's Cube to school, and they'd say, hey, can you teach me? And I'd say, sure. And so I would, it started with one friend, then gradually I had this little cloud of people around me, and they're like just taking turns looking, here, look at my cube now, and I'd tell them what to do, and okay, thank you. They're doing that, someone else to put their cube in their hands, and I just got such a kick out of teaching people how to solve the cube that became my thing. Go to her, she'll teach you how to solve it. And so then it was like, well, this is my friend so-and-so, will you teach them too? I'm like, sure. And then it's like, will you teach my friend too? And I'm like, sure. And by unspoken edict, one day the bullies just stopped bullying me. And I didn't notice right away, but then a couple days later, one of them came to me and said, will you teach me as well? I'm like, sure. So that's how I survived middle school and high school, was the bullies had to stop bullying me because they couldn't ask me to teach them if they kept bullying me. So that was fun. But I love being able to watch someone take something that they think is beyond their capability and just follow a simple pattern and the cube behaves, and they're like, oh, I can do it. It worked. And that is just so fun for me. So that's why I teach the cube. That's how I came up with this method. Is written in my bio on my website. You can find me at abcube.how. That W right there, that comma, is supposed to be a period. It's a typo. I have to redo that. I'm sorry. We have to do that graphic. Anyway, you can find, I have a YouTube, of course. Most of the YouTube is just these uploaded, but I have a playlist that goes along parallel with my tutorial on abcube.how, where instead of walking through a solve, which for me, watching people walk through a solve was only helpful if their cube happened to have the specific problem that I was trying to fix and didn't know how to, and then I'd have to get to that point and pause and rewrite it over. So when I created my method, I just created one method, one video, one step for each step that you're doing. So you just go to the video that you want to learn that step for, whether it's corners or edges or centers or whatever, and then it covers pretty much every position that you can have in that place. So it covers the way your cube is, and you can learn from that. So that's me. That's how I'm different. And that's it for the day. Unless anybody has any questions or comments, for those of you who just joined me, I am Sunshine, and I'm the creator of the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. And you can solve it's the newest method out there. It was published on, I published it on speedsolver.com in 2020. And it does not use algorithms, it just uses Formula A and Formula B. Formula A is 4 moves. They're both mathematic. B is 8 moves. They're both mathematical zeros, so that these are commutators, so they're only going to move the pieces you want to move and not going to scramble the rest of your cube. And A brings a color to the top, B moves 3 pieces around, and then all you need to do is let the cube dictate to you what those pieces need to be. And it takes me about an hour and a half to teach this in real life. And if anyone wants to learn or wants to bring me your non-cuber friends to learn, please do that. I am set up on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings to incorporate Zoom into this Twitch, so I can be teaching up to 3 to 4 people at a time, and then I just do a game capture with my Zoom, with my Twitch. So I'm still here on Twitch, but I can also be teaching in real time. Anyone who wants to learn, because it's fun for me. So if you're not following me already, please follow me. That'd be great. Want to be my gamer friend? Yes, whoever you are, yes, I absolutely want to be your friend. Fortnite, babe. So I am Sunshine. I am ABCube tutor. And I will be back tomorrow morning. And I'm here, check out my schedule. I'm here every weekday morning, and then I'm here Friday evening, Saturday mornings. So hope you guys all go have a wonderful day. Be nice to yourselves. Be happy. And I will be back here tomorrow. So bye.